Chris, we've talked to you a bunch about Malachi, but just through this point, through 7 games, what stands out to you about how far he's come, even going back to that very first game against Oregon?
Well, he's just been really been able to really lock in on the game plan a lot more than he has. Not having a lot of experience as a lot of other guys on the team. I've been really impressed on just how he's been able to lock in on the game plan and learn a lot really fast. And he's also been very consistent. So those are probably the two things that pop out the most.
Yeah, Chris, last year, I guess after the game, Kirby's halftime speech got leaked about him wanting to break them and all this other. What's that like listening to those Kirby? Is it always fire and brimstone? And you obviously been around a lot of motivators. What would you say about the way Kirby delivers the message to the team?
Yeah, he's pretty much the same, man. He's very passionate about us and the team, and it rubs off on us. And he does a great job of getting us pumped up for the games and making sure we stay attentive to detail throughout the games. And that's just the kind of guy he is, man. He has a lot of love for this university. He has a lot of love for the team, and I think it rubs off on us pretty well.
Chris, what were some of the areas y'all really focused in on improving its defense over the bye week, especially when you look ahead to some of the passing attacks y'all got coming up down the stretch?
Yeah, just fundamentals and communication. Fundamentals like playing the ball, tackling, effort, conditioning, things like that. Communication as well, because like you said, the passing attacks that we got coming is going to take a great amount of communication for us to be able to succeed. So just working on ourselves. I know I sound like a broken record, but we always go to the doctor. So just continuing to work on our fundamentals and communication is the main key point for us.
Nolan Smith, being a South Georgia guy, made a couple of big plays in this game last year. What do you think this game means to him, and what does he mean to y'all's defense?
I know it means a lot. He's a guy that's just like Coach Smart for us. Just very passionate and brings a lot of energy to the game. He had a great game last year, and I know he's going to do everything it takes this week to be able to have another good game, as well as the rest of the defense.
And Chris, a few years ago, Florida had Kyle Pitts in this game. Obviously, in practice every week, you're intimately involved in defending tight ends, Georgia's tight ends in practices.
Yeah.
What is it about tight ends in particular in recent years that, or in Georgia for sure, has made it such a big part of the offense and makes it such a difficult quandary for defenses?
I personally feel like just in the recent years, tight ends have become some of the best athletes on the field. Just the amount of size and speed they have to go combined with it, and the catch radius, and they almost pretty much always have great hands and things like that. It makes it difficult for a slower linebacker to defend or smaller DB to defend. So they're in that middle ground, but they have a tremendous amount of athleticism that's hard to deal with.
Chris, what's been the impact of not having much of Jalen Carter this season? Obviously, the last 2 games haven't had him. How have you guys managed that?
Well, we obviously been missing him. He's a great part and a big key to our defense. But we got guys behind him, a lot of young guys that have been able to step up this year and get a lot of experience. And hopefully we can get Jalen Carter back very soon.
Chris, I know you guys preach composure. Kirby preaches that all the time. But coming up a game like Florida or a bigger game like Waco, is there some emotions that you just can't help? Is there some excitement, some fire that? Does it come up, or is it easy just to kind of stay in that moment and not get emotional about it? How do you handle that?
Well, me personally, as the years have gone on, I have been able to stay more composed than I have been when I was, a little bit younger. But, it's always going to be those emotions and things like that flying throughout the game, especially as a game and the stakes get bigger, later in the season, losses take a big toll on the team. So, it's definitely crunch time. Coach Smart and the rest of the coaching staff and the players as a whole, we just try to help each other out when we see somebody not being composed. Coach Smart always preaches pulling out your composure card. Sometimes when things ain't going right, he just dig in his back pocket and go like this. It's just like an imaginary card, but it's something that we like to use to, stay on track throughout our game.
Yeah, Chris, we tried to kind of put it to bed, but they put out some statement about the game, there's no decision about the future of the game. So, okay, well, what about for a guy like you that plays Sanford Stadium, goes to visiting stadiums? If the future of this game does turn it into playing in different home stadiums, is that something you think players would like? Would you be open to that, or do you think it should necessarily stay in one stadium all the time?
Well, I definitely like playing in Jacksonville, but I personally would like to see the game be home and home as well. It brings a different feel. I never had the opportunity to play in Florida Stadium or anything like that, and that's something that I always wanted. So I think it would be great, maybe a home and home, and maybe Jacksonville every now and then or something like that. But regardless, the fans gonna show up and show out. So but it definitely would be great to get a home and home every now and then, just because I feel like the players deserve that experience. Their players haven't been able to come to our stadium either, and they're both great sights to see.
Chris, as one of the veterans on this team who's been through this game, what are some of your favorite memories of having played Florida the last few years?
Just the game as a whole, just like when you step into the stadium and you see the crowd split 50-50 and the build up, and it's always a great game between us two. So just the whole spectacle as a whole, it's a great rivalry, and I'm pretty sure the game gonna live up to its past this week.
Being from Atlanta, what did you know about this game coming into Georgia, and some of the older DBs that have already gone and graduated? Did they tell you anything about the annual build up of this game every year?
Yeah, especially Coach Smart. He's one of the main people. He's been a part of this rivalry for a very, very long time. And being from Georgia and being a Georgia fan growing up, I know the importance of this rivalry as well. Having been able to play in it as well, it just adds a little bit more. And our team knows that, and Florida knows it as well.
Chris, obviously you were on the field the last time Florida won in this series a few years ago, and last year total yards they actually had more than you. Man, you guys are huge favorites, but just in terms of the team's awareness of what could happen in this game, despite you guys being a 3-touchdown favorite, can you speak to that?
Like I said, man, we know the kind of game it's going to be whenever we play Florida. It's a very big rivalry, and we can't go in this game dwelling on our past. We have to focus on the game plan this week and be able to execute. Like you said, I was on the field when we lost to them 2 years ago. Last year, it was a tough game. Although the score probably didn't reflect that, but it was always a tough game whenever we were able to play those guys, and we're gonna have to be prepared.
Chris, what stands out to you about Anthony Richardson and getting ready to play him this week?
Well, first of all, he's a physical specimen. He breaks a lot of tackles. He's able to make a lot of plays outside the pocket as well as standing in the pocket and getting deep shots down the field. So we're gonna have to put together a good game plan to be able to contain him as well. I was fortunate enough to be able to go against him last year and see what he was about, and he's done nothing but improve since then.
Things have obviously gotten strange with the transfer portal. What's your relationship with Brenton Cox now, if anything, and Jalen Kimber being down there?
I got a great relationship with Jay Bug. He was with us last year, and Brenton Cox as well. Things happen. Guys aren't on the team like they used to be, but you keep that great relationship if you had a good relationship with those players as well. So I talk to Jalen Kimber a lot. Talk to Brenton Cox every now and then. And, no love lost, but when we step in between those lines, ready to go to work. It's a business trip.
Other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.